So welcome back to Offsides podcast. I'm me and Pete on here again tonight, making it do what it do. Pete, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. We're close.
I know, a week out. A week out. I was thinking about that today. Like literally, it's a week. Like right now, 8 o'clock. That this time next week, you're gonna be seeing kickoff or getting ready to see the kickoff. Ravens at Chiefs starting the season out, man. I'm pretty excited. Super excited. Can't wait. Can't wait. So let's get into it, man. Look, IU finally signed an extension, 4 years, 120 mil, 30 per year, $3 million per year. I forgot it was like 76 guaranteed or something like that. Why did it take so long, bro?
Seems like that's the question everybody's asking. And the same thing with CD Lamb. Why did it take this long? But we'll never know what goes on behind closed doors with these types of things. So, but look, I was shocked because they were, I don't know if you've seen it. They talked to John Lynch, and he was like, yeah, it's at some point you got to play. And everybody's comeback was at some point you gotta pay, and it's true. It's both ways. This guy's got his last year on his deal, and I know you didn't get franchised 2 years in a row, but no player really wants that. Only person who really did that was like Kirk Cousins, and that shit paid off for him. So I think that's why Kirk Cousins gets a lot of the hate that he does. But he beat the system actually, but that's why Jamar Chase is doing the same thing now. Like he's sitting out because he wants to get paid, doesn't want to get hurt, even though he's got more years left on his deal. But
yeah, he's way early, way early.
Well, remember Zeke did the same shit.
Yeah,
Zeke did the same thing. Third year, he wanted his money. I mean, he got it, but Jamar Chase is with a cheap franchise. They're not known for doing that, and he's gonna want to be the highest paid. So let's see how this plays out.
But I mean, so CD got 136 for 4 years, right? IU got 120, so I think he took a little discount to stay with the team he really wanted to stay with. CD's higher than him. Yeah, IU's like what, fifth on the charts of wide receivers getting paid. So I mean, he's not. Let me see. Justin Jefferson's one, CD Lamb is second, AJ Brown is third. Amon-Ra St. Brown is fourth. Tyreek Hill is fifth. Brandon Ayuk is right behind Tyreek Hill. But he's above Waddle and Devontae Adams. So I think that's a fair amount, to not be the number one guy on the team. You know what I'm saying? He got paid. So I think, I don't know. We know why Jerry does it. Jerry likes to control the whole narrative and situation of things. I don't know why IU didn't take the money sooner when he never wanted to go somewhere else. Patriots offered him way more money. He would have been third highest paid if he would have went to the Pats. They would have given him $32 million a year. So I mean, I don't know what took it, but he's there. You brought a Jamar Chase. See, I don't think this is conducive to the team. I think it's very selfish when a player does this because you need that chemistry. You need that building that up. Like a lot of athletes say, what you don't want to do is not play, not practice, not do the preseason, none of that. And now you come out on the field week one trying to play, or week two, but you haven't had that stretch of training to get the body used to getting hit, getting your body used to the cutbacks. It's very different when you're cutting back and nobody's trying to hit you. You ain't got equipment on. If you ain't, that's like, yeah, you're out there with Tom Brady catching the ball. Nobody's going to try to hit you. You're on the field, but it's different when you're in the game. And now you got to stop. It's just a lot more things that can go on in a game that you can't predict in practice, that you do in practice. In practice, you can predict what you're going to get. In a game, you can't. I just don't understand why the players do it. I think it's kind of selfish to do that. And it doesn't bring on a team atmosphere.
He did. From what I understand, he did want to go to the Commanders because he played with Jaden Daniels in college.
Yeah.
So he did want to. It seemed like he did really want to go there, but then they didn't have any interest in him, I think. And then also San Francisco wanted a receiver back if they traded him. So that's where the Browns was a good fit because they would have traded them either probably Amari Cooper to get Ayuk, but Ayuk didn't want to go there. So. Yeah. So and look, all of this, and he ended up staying. So
it reminds me of your homeboy that be beefing all the time. I can't stand my girl. I'm leaving her. The next thing you know is He ain't going nowhere. He's right there.
Well, he got his money, so hopefully that was the money he wanted. And look,
I think it's a good deal, man. Honestly, look, you wasn't a millionaire before you joined the NFL. Now you got money, you got generational money. You do right by this money. Your kids ain't never gonna have to work. You know what I'm saying? So 30 mil a year to do what you love to do, when there's people out here making 30,000 a year to not to do something that they love to do. It's crazy. So I think you're good. Speaking of restructured deals, man, the Browns restructured Watson's deal. So 44.79 million of his $46 million salary this year was turned into a signing bonus, giving the Browns $62 million in cap space. What do you think that was for?
just give them flexibility. You know, Deshaun Watson is probably the worst contract out in sports, being that it's all guaranteed. He got hurt last year, suspended the year before, I believe. He hasn't really played. Like, I don't think he's played at all for the Browns, it seems like. He also, I read that he was complaining about he had shoulder soreness. So, like, bro, are you gonna play this? You're not gonna play this year either. I'm not saying he's gonna be out for the year, but like, what's really going on with this cat? And then you just gonna give him, it's all guaranteed anyway. So it's kind of like reorganizing your space, so to speak. So it's a credit card bill. Eventually they're gonna have to pay it. So I guess it's just moving it along. They're getting it out the way sooner than later. And maybe that helps them down the line. I don't know what you need $68 million in cap space for now, but next year in the offseason, they're gonna need that.
Before IU signed the contract, some people were saying that it was possibly to make a bigger move to go give him what he wanted and get him to the Browns. I thought maybe Trent Williams is still out there. Let's get him some money, but they have a left tackle that's pretty good. So I think you're right. I think that it's more for next year. You got him. I think Nick Chubb's a free agent next year. Their left tackle right now is going to be a free agent next year, and Amari Cooper is going to be a free agent next year. So they're probably looking at, you know what, we free up this cap space now. If we can make something shake, we do. But if not, we'll just save it. And probably they could extend Amari Cooper now and get it out the way.
Yeah,
or
yeah, true.
So it looks good. And like you said, the contract it was the worst contract for a franchise, but not a player.
Yeah, for the player, it's
It's amazing. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's where being desperate came in. And we all had to admit that Deshaun Watson, when he was in Texas, was a lot better. He was a good quarterback. People had him in MVP talks and stuff like that. So, I think also not playing in Texas, sitting out, not wanting to play for them, injuries, it takes a while for you to get back into that swing of things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we talk about Flacco coming off the couch and playing, and going to the playoffs, but Flacco was in the league the year before. He wasn't sitting out. So last year he was 6-1 in the games he played, or 5-1. He was winning. He had, I want to say, 7 touchdowns. I looked up his numbers before. He wasn't too bad. I felt he was progressing. But if you can't stay on the field consistently, then we can't see your numbers be what they're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good to say, oh yeah, he was doing great, but if you're not on the field like a full season, we can't see. The thing is that team is built to win.
He's not, and definitely with the defense, without a doubt. But you brought up how he was playing in Houston. Like, he was lighting it up in Houston. He hasn't done that in Cleveland yet. Obviously, he hasn't been on the field, but I don't see him making that big of an impact in Cleveland like he did in Houston.
I see that. Yeah. So year one suspension comes to play. He went 3-3, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 58% completion. Year 2 in Cleveland, he went 5-1, more completions, same amount of attempts, 61% completion percentage, 1,115 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So in 6 games, he's giving you roughly an average of 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns and about 4 interceptions average. And that's just playing 6 games a season. You know what I'm saying? So if you imagine if he played the full 18 games, 17 games. So add 11 more in there, he might, man, he might can give you 4,000 yards. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see. I think it's still jury's still out on him in Cleveland. He was a hell of a player before he left, but like you said, he sat out because he didn't want to play for the Texans. He sat out, and then the next year he was suspended, and the following year he's hurt. So it's like I don't know. It's jury's still out on this guy in Cleveland. Fully guaranteed deal. We'll see.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not saying he's going to get back to that. I would like to see him get back to 70% of that. With that defense, you know, that's a win. Those players, Amari Cooper's a dope wide receiver.
Yeah.
He'll never be moving around like he moves around. I mean, the dude should be out there getting money from somewhere. So we had a few people named as starters. You know, Patriots when Jacoby Brissett, we knew that was coming. They're not trying to make the mistake of starting Drake May and his career going down the toilet because we don't have a good offense, and you know it's just not where it needs to be. Let him sit. But the Steelers went with Wilson. There was a lot of talk about Wilson and Fields, and I've always said Wilson was going to be the starter. I would never start Fields over Wilson. That's just me. I feel like Wilson has the experience, but they start him. So I'm asking you, um, does he do the whole season as starter? He gets benched, and where do you see the season this year for the Steelers going?
They're in a tough. They're in like one of the toughest divisions.
Yeah.
Like the whole division is pretty legit. I don't know. I don't think me saying they're coming last place says they're a bad team. It's just the other teams are just better.
Yeah.
The Ravens, they're always in the mix. We just talked about Cleveland's defense, and then Joe Burrow's coming back. Well, I'm still on the fence with them. So
with the Bengals,
with the Bengals, yeah. Because look, Jamar Chase, like if he don't play, that's not the same team. Because then they only got T. Higgins is their number one. Jamar Chase is the game breaker. So I'll have to wait and see what happens with Jamar Chase before putting them above, Baltimore or Cleveland.
mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, I'm sorry. Saying they'll be last is not saying that they're a bad team. It's just the division is really tough.
I don't think so. I guess the question, right, is does Tomlin get his first losing season?
Everybody brings up the back end of the schedule is really tough.
Yeah, the last 8 games are ridiculous.
So that's when we'll find out. But I think what we also may find out early, because if Russell struggles at the beginning and they don't get the games, I guess that everybody's thinking they're gonna win, then this is gonna be a really bad season because they'll go to Fields eventually because Wilson didn't work out, and then that the last half of the season, like you said, it's a tough schedule, and they may get beat up pretty bad. So I mean, again, I have no problem admitting that I've been wrong a lot, but you'll never know what happens in these seasons because you get that surprise team, and who knows, it could be the Steelers.
That's my thing is, so I remember when the whole trade happened, I said I think it was good for us because of Mike Tomlin. I think Tomlin's a good head coach as far as being a leader of men and getting the best out of his players, how he coaches them. Obviously, he's defense. He's not offense, so I don't expect him to turn Russell Wilson around into this great quarterback because he's not an offensive person. What I figured was that he's going to mentor him. He's going to talk to him the way Russell wants to talk. Wants to be talked like to, and get treated the way he wants to get treated. But he's not going to treat him special, like give him his own office and stuff. Nah, you can be part of the locker room. You're going to be a quarterback, and you're going to be in here. But I'm going to give you that respect that you deserve. So I thought it was going to work out for him. My concern is with Russell is what if Russell's done? What
Very
if
true.
he doesn't have it anymore? You know what I'm saying? What if Russell is just sitting there and not admitting or wanting to be real and say, you know what, we don't got it. I don't have it no more. He could have bowed out. He still would have got paid by Denver. You know what I'm saying? Hefty pay, and been good. Now he stays in, has a chance of risking his Hall of Fame career. Some people thought he had one. Now some people saying he might not even get in. You know, I don't know. So, but I agree. If he struggles, I don't think Fields can take him over the hump. Not with those games at the back end, especially see because the Bengals they start off slow, but then they pick up speed. If Burrow's healthy, they pick up speed. Now you brought up Jamar Chase, and I think that's dope. But what if Burrow's that quarterback that yes, it helps to have Jamar, but I can still do it without Jamar.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Joe Burrow is like, still, he stays the course without Jamar Chase, but it would help to have Jamar Chase, especially who they're playing twice a year. They're playing the Ravens twice a year. They're playing Cleveland twice a year. So, and even Pittsburgh. The strength of Pittsburgh to me is their defense. So
Always.
it's always good to have as many weapons, of course, as you can. He may be without one of the best weapons in the league. So
Yeah, definite. The other thing I wanted to ask you, so Tomlin is revered to as a good head coach. He hasn't won a game since a playoff game since 2016, I want to say. That's the last time they won a playoff game. He went to 4 Super Bowls, won one. I mean, went to 2 Super Bowls, won one in 4 years. But he didn't draft Big Ben. That was Bill Cowher. He didn't build that team. That was Cowher. Yeah, he's had winning seasons, but it's been lack. Like if success is just having a winning season, that's not the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got 6 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? They're not a 1 Super Bowl team. You know what I mean? So to me, once you have a certain amount, your level of success is we got to get back to that caliber of winning. Can he develop a quarterback? Can he or build a team that's going to get past the hump and get to the big game? You think he could do that?
no. They got question marks too. They have, they didn't pick up Najee Harris's option.
Yeah.
It seems like the offensive line is still not a strength, and then they got uncertainty at quarterback with Russ. Look, the topic every day is, will he last the season? Like, is he eventually going to get benched? And it's probably because what happened to him in Denver. And like you said, what if he doesn't have it anymore? That's why people are probably bringing that up as well, because the first year it seemed like he lost it. First year in Denver, he didn't play bad last year, but his money, Sean Payton, that all played into a fact that's why he's not there anymore.
So last year he threw for less yards than he did his first year in Denver. His first year in Denver, he threw for 35. Last year, he threw for 3,070 with 26 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions.
But he didn't play the whole season.
Yeah, he didn't. He played. They said he started 15 games. So yeah, that's right. You add the other 2, he throws for 250 yards each game. He's back up to 35. His best year in Seattle, he threw for 42, 19. So I mean, his touchdowns, 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. That's a good ratio. That's not even double digits. You know what I'm saying? And he went 7 and 8 in that time frame. If the defense probably would have been a little bit better, they probably could. They could have won some games. They beat.
They went to Buffalo and beat Buffalo. They beat Kansas City last year. They had some good wins last year. But again, Sean Payton, I don't think liked him from jump.
Wasn't his guy. He didn't draft.
Yeah, wasn't his guy. And then he's like, "This is not my guy. He's making all this money." And again, let's say he was lighting it up, MVP candidate, all that. We're not talking about this, but
Not,
he was average for Sean Payton, and average shouldn't be making that money. That's why he's not there anymore.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I want to see what's going to happen with these teams and stuff like that. Not much on the news front besides who's starting, who's not starting. We're going to do our picks next week when we record again before I go to DR. But what's one of your excitements coming up, man? We're a week away. Yeah, I know you got your draft. When you drafting?
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
I got tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. I'm supposed to do another one, so I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, are you excited? What you most excited about, man? Let's have that talk. We 7 days out. You know, it's pretty much Thursday, Sundays, and Mondays. The family ain't gonna see us. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So
usually I don't watch. I've been the sports shows have been kind of turning me off. They're not. It's about everybody screaming, and then you got people who who won't accept that they're wrong. So a lot of these shows turn me off. But what I have been watching lately, and it's more because of the guests, because the host I can't stand. Mike Greenberg, he's fucking annoying as hell. But one of the analysts on there, because he put a stop to the Jets shit. He was like, "Yo, man, let's stop. Why are we acting like everybody's talking down on the Jets? Like there's a question at quarterback. There isn't a question at quarterback." He was like, "We're sick of talking about it already. We want to see it." And he hit the nail on the head with that shit. Like enough of this. Oh, they got the best defense. They won 7 games with shitty quarterback play. Let's fucking see it already. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. I want to see if the fucking Jets are for real. That's what I want to see. Because remember, Aaron Rodgers, his last full year, they say his thumb was broken. He wasn't up to par. They lost that last game against the Lions to get them in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm curious to see if they're for real. Because it's just Jets talk every fucking day. And again, I just want to see it already. Let's see it. If that's what it is, let's see it.
One thing I like about the shows I watch, man, is they don't really talk about the Jets. Like, except speak, but James Jones gets mad because you talk about, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
It's butthurt. But so does what's the dude that be coming on first things first, the wide receiver, Greg Jennings. He kind of gets a little, but I mean, if I won a Super Bowl with you and it's my only Super Bowl I got, it's like Shady. Shady loves Brady and Patrick because they got him 2 rings. You know what I'm saying? But they got him a ring each. So I see you defend it. What I'm excited to see, I want to see this year. You say to the Jets, I want to see Aaron Rodgers play. I just want to see what he's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you gonna? You got so many people banking on you, bro, to be what 80% of what you used to be. You didn't throw for 300 yards, I think, the last 2 seasons in a game. That's crazy. Like you telling me you couldn't get 300, and this is Aaron Rodgers that at one point was the greatest thrower of the football. You know what I'm saying? Like people were putting him up there with Brady when they were both playing. So I wouldn't see that, but I think the most excitement for me is just seeing how these teams are going to stack up. I want to see the Chargers, what the Chargers are going to look like under Harbaugh. I want to see, in the NFC side, I want to see if is Jalen going to get better in the turnovers and not have so many. How's that going to look? I want to see. I'm trying to think. I don't want to see the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs are going to be monsters, bro. Like I feel they went out and got Juju. And I know it's not a big threat, but he has a ring with them. He knows the system. You know what I'm saying? So it's a comfortable weapon that Mahomes got that he won with already. So now you got Juju. You got Rashid Rice. You have Hollywood Brown's hurt. You got Xavier Worthy. You still got Kelsey. You got Pacheco. I mean, the offensive line is still intact. Bro, I wouldn't be surprised if he throws for a 50 touchdown, man. Like, if
they'll be in the mix, they're going to be in the mix like they always are. They got everything. Listen, man. They're running it back. They got basically the same team. They upgraded at receiver because they got rid of fucking Kadarius Toney, who was responsible for off of his drops. He was responsible for a couple of interceptions. So they upgraded at they won it 2 years in a row, and they upgraded at receiver. Like you said, the offensive line is still intact. They lost a corner. All right, they lost a corner.
Yeah, the Darius Sneed, but we know that. So I don't know about you. I believe in having, if you have a strong defensive line up front that can get penetration, your corners are going to be good.
Yeah, it definitely helps the corners.
Yeah, your secondary is going to be great because they got the ball got to come out fast. But I feel like they got depth where it mattered most, which is the receiving core.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what they did. It was like, you know what? If we want to run it back, we don't need Kelsey to be great during the season. We need to be great in the playoffs. What we need is wide receivers. People that we can throw out there that we know can get the ball and go get it and have depth at it. So if one gets hurt, we're not struggling. If they suspend Rashid Rice, I'm okay. I got 3 other ones or 2 other ones that I could work with. And you still got Pacheco and stuff like that. I'm just excited for it to start, man. And I hate that I'm gonna miss Thursday's game and mostly all of Sundays.
Well, Friday you're gonna see Friday. Remember, there's a game on Friday too.
Who's playing Friday?
The Eagles and the Packers in Brazil.
I'll miss that too. I'm in DR at a resort, bro. My wife is not trying to hear me. Imagine me at the pool, bro. Mama, what you doing? Oh, nothing. You know, like, nah, I'm gonna have to. You know what? I got NFL Plus, so I'll just rewatch them. You know, on the way back, I'll watch the condensed version, and it's like 30 minutes each game, and I'll take notes and go from there. But yeah, I'm excited for that, man. I really am excited to see it. I want to see what my team's going to do, to be honest. I want to see what our defense is going to look like. I think with a good defense, we could steal a couple of games. You know what I'm saying? If we can keep that to like, because I don't know how the Bills going to look this year. And I think we can get one from the Jets. I think we can. I think we can get one from the Jets. The one that I'm worried about is going to be Miami. Miami, if we got to go down there, if they can come up to us in the wintertime, that'd be great. But if we got to go down there in the winter, then I don't see us winning because it's hot all around. You know what I'm saying?
I'm me personally, Buffalo to me, and again, I'm not saying I'm going to be right, but I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of stayed the course because addition by subtraction. Maybe getting rid of Diggs is a good thing. So I'm not on the side of, oh yeah, Buffalo's gonna be shit because they lost players. I can't co-sign that right now because sometimes again, as great as Diggs is, maybe he's a distraction. You know, maybe it happened with the Giants when they beat the Patriots and the undefeated season. You know, Shockey was hurt. He didn't play in the Super Bowl. He didn't play for the last couple of games of the year, and Tiki retired.
Yeah, he did.
So they said those guys were really they would stress Eli out. Remember, Eli was still young at that time. So those 2 guys weren't in the they weren't part of the Super Bowl team. They weren't on the field. Tiki was retired. Shockey was up in the suite watching the game. Wow. So he didn't have that in his ear. Yo, get me the ball, and Tiki having a hair up his ass every time it wasn't a run play. So I believe in addition by subtraction when regarding football teams. So I don't think it's the linebacker getting hurt for the year. Milano, I believe, that to me is more, for me, impactful than them losing Diggs.
Yeah, because you already lost Poyer and the other guy. I could never think about the other guy's name. It's Poyer and one more guy and they were like a tandem back there. They were both safeties, I think. And you lost them both.
Micah Hyde.
Yeah, Micah Hyde. And then you got you had Tre'Davious White's gone.
Yeah, he's gone too.
And he was injured last year. He gets back, he's injured this year. I think that I think Allen's development and maturity over the years, he can survive without Diggs. However, he has to minimize the turnovers. That's one thing Brady said to him. They did an interview, It was Brady, him, and I forgot who else. And Brady said to him, learn how to just take the easy completion. It's better to get some yards than get no yards and turn the ball over. Now you give the other team a chance. So whether he takes heed to that and does it, I mean, that's on him. But I don't know. I want to see that with these teams. I'm just excited for it to start, to be honest with you. It's gonna be great to see every team in NFL gunning to stop the Chiefs.
So Miami is at New England October 6th.
Over 6. So we get them not even in the wintertime.
Nah, it's like that's week 5.
Yeah, and then we got to go there in November and it's still hot. So
Yep, November 24th.
we won't even split with them. It'd be like it might be an 0-2. And then I don't know. I just at this point, if I watch one of my games this year, I'm saying it's gonna be a lot because I'll be cursing out the TV and everything in here, bro. I'll be so mad, so mad. But I'm sitting here, man. I'm just thinking like, who you got? Well, I know we're gonna do our predictions. I know we got that coming up next week, and I don't want.
So I got something. So the Giants unretired, well, not really unretired, but they allowed Malik Neighbors to wear a retired number.
Why?
Why? Well, so yeah, that's my question. What do you think about retired numbers? So I'll give you context. So I guess you didn't hear about this.
I didn't.
So the Giants have a lot. They have, of course, the thing now is single digit numbers since they allowed everybody or pretty much most of the positions to wear single digits. They had also allowed number it's not technically a number 0 to be worn as well. So Malik Neighbors was 8 at LSU. Daniel Jones is 8. So a lot of the single digits are taken up. 1 is retired, 4 is retired, 7 is retired. Okay. 2 is taken by Drew Lock, 3 is taken by Banks, 5 is taken by Thibodeau, 6 is the punter, 7 is retired, I think I said 8 Daniel Jones, and 9 is Graham Gano, the kicker. So he wanted it, he was wearing 9 in camp, and everybody was like, what number is he gonna wear? What number is he gonna wear? He didn't want 88, which people were suggesting because he wore 8 in college. He didn't want 18. The guy who just had 18 last year was he went to the practice squad. So that was a big thing. Wondering what number he was gonna wear. And yeah, they allowed him to rock a number that was retired. Apparently he spoke to the owner. He wanted a single digit number, and the owner spoke to the family and they allowed it. So he's wearing a retired number. How do you feel about retired numbers, and how do you feel about that?
So I think so first off, I feel like they did the right thing. They went to the family and said, look, he wants to wear it. What do you guys feel? I think it matters on who the player is. And I know that kind of takes away from the value of having a retired number, because you know that you could be the greatest. Your number could be retired for what you do for the franchise, but never really winning a Super Bowl again to that level where, let's take a Tom Brady retiring his number versus, I don't know, another person on a team that just was great for so many years but never won it. It's very different. I believe that if the number's retired, then you shouldn't bring it out of retirement. That's just me. Only because, like I said, that number's tied to that player.
So more context is Ray Flaherty was I believe the first number to be retired by the Giants. But this is a long time ago. I'm not going to sit and tell you that I've seen him play, but a good discussion on Michael Kay. That's one of the shows I watch, Michael Kay, the Michael Kay show. They're good. Their reasoning was, so what happens if somebody next year says, yo, I want to wear number 56? Or I want to wear 10.
See, that's what I was saying.
Why would you put those players on the spot? Now, so now you got to ask them, because, well, why did you ask for him and you're not going to ask for me? Mm-hmm. And then you're going to, Giant legends who have had their numbers retired.
Bro, 56 is LT.
Absolutely.
only NFL player, defensive player, to be the MVP of the league. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude was winning games for the Giants on defense. Like that's what I'm saying. I respect what they did. They went to the family, but that's what I was trying to say. Like depending on where that number, you talking about Eli 10. As much as we can talk debate, he's a 500 quarterback. You know, he wasn't the best, but he got 2 Super Bowl rings and 2 Super Bowl MVPs against arguably the greatest dynasty up until now in football, because you got the Chiefs coming right behind them, and they stopped them. You know, they kept the most high pot at the time, an offense that was scoring out the ass, you know, just killing the game to 14 points. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna, but whether the catch was a miracle, it doesn't matter. He threw the ball, he scrambled out the pocket, he threw the ball where it was going, the receiver caught it, and then you know the rest is history. Why would you unretire his number for someone? You can't. You know what I'm saying?
For a rookie.
A rookie, exactly. Now, but I'm gonna throw another one at you. Let's say his nephew, who's quarterbacking, right, comes in the league and says, "I'm gonna go to the Giants, but I want to wear my uncle's number." So do you retire it then? He's a Manning.
Oh, you talking about Arch Manning. That's a good question. That would be again, that's gonna go. That goes on. That's on Eli. That's his family. It's his number. I don't see that happening. Look, I'm a jersey guy. I'm a number guy for some reason. I'm obsessed with numbers. So I was like kind of waiting to see what number he was gonna wear. Look, Peyton Manning, when he went to Denver, 18 was retired. The guy let him wear it. Joe Namath was willing to let Aaron Rodgers wear 12, and Aaron Rodgers said not, because he wore 8 in college. So he said, "Nah, I'll wear 8." So I pay attention to this shit. That's just how I am. Like when the Giants were talking about getting Drake May, I was like, well, they get Drake May, he can't wear number 10 because it's Eli's number. But my personal opinion, Daniel Jones wore 17 in college. He should have gave the 8 to Malik Neighbors, because Neighbors is about to save his ass this year. So
Yeah.
that's what I would have did. But you look at the guy, the punter from the Commanders, he was number 5. When they drafted Jaden Daniels, he gave it to him. You hear about these guys, buying the number off certain guys. Kirk Cousins, when he went to the Falcons, Pitts was going to give him 8. But I don't know if you know this, to switch your number, if there's still stock in Nike of your jersey, you have to buy out that remaining stock.
I didn't know that. I just thought they said
So,
the country.
no. That's the Super Bowl shirts. Now, them jerseys, if let's say I want to give my number to you.
Yeah.
But I gotta buy the remaining stock. I gotta come out of pocket and buy all those jerseys. And what the fuck am I gonna do with all the jerseys? But then you get your jersey. I mean, of course, I get a new number. Fans are gonna buy that jersey, but that's how it works. So Kirk Cousins has 18 instead of 8 because they wasn't gonna pay 6 figures to buy all them fucking jerseys.
I ain't paying no. Fuck that. Listen, look, I don't really get into the number thing that deep, you know. And it's just I never really paid attention to it. I do feel like certain numbers should be retired, bro. Like I just feel like 42 is one that in baseball I feel like should be retired permanently for everybody. You shouldn't play it. I feel 12 for Brady. You know what I'm saying? Look, you can't. No, that's it. Nobody. I don't care who you are.
Throughout the league, you want to be retired.
Fuck it, retire it, bro. Listen,
Negative.
Look.
So yeah, New England, absolutely. But you're saying every team, nobody can wear 12.
Hear me out, right? Because look, we making it a topic, bro. Give me a second.
No, I get it.
Hear me out. Nobody's done what he did, bro. It's like 56, but for Lawrence Taylor. And to another defensive player wins MVP, which we probably won't see it because MVP now it's a quarterback award. They should have 2 MVPs. They should have the league MVP and then the quarterback MVP, because we're never going to give it to somebody other than the quarterback. When the quarterback, he got to throw the ball, but guess they got to catch it. Somebody's got to catch it. A running back's got to run it. Somebody's got to block. You know, to me, there's certain things that unsung heroes out there that don't get the recognition. Like when you got an offensive lineman that hasn't allowed a sack all season, or a hit on the quarterback. That's big, you know. But Lawrence Taylor, 56, and NFL MVP. How many Super Bowls? 2, right? 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
Argue the dude used to do coke and smoke crack and be drunk Saturday night and come in on Sunday and get like 1,000 sacks, bro, and be sleeping in between the drives on the sideline. Come on, retire the number because nobody's ever going to live up to that. Nobody. We don't. Aaron Donald didn't get an MVP. T.J. Watt hasn't got one. Who else? Myles Garrett hasn't got one. J.J. never got one. James Harrison never got one. Who else we got? There's been so many defensive players, and none of them has had the impact that Lawrence Taylor had. Retire the number, bro. 56. No, all over. Let it go. Let it go. If they earn it, why not? Why not? Listen, why not? Why
Look,
not?
Brady went to Tampa. Chris Godwin had 12. He gave it to him.
Bro, I would give it 2. And you know what he got? A Super Bowl ring. You know what I'm saying? So I would have given it's Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. The dude walked in the line. And the thing about it is, you know, all jokes aside, like we you know, I'm being funny, but the guy, the worth. Look at where he went from to where he was at to where he was at and where he's at now. He's pretty much the godfather of the NFL. And it's because of what he accomplished. Now, we talk about respect these players, like let's pay the players what they're worth. Let's take care of them. Like you said, now that we're on the topic of numbers, just imagine the pride that Lawrence Taylor would feel. Not only is he a 2-time Super Bowl champ, NFL MVP, and a Hall of Famer, after everything he's went through, that every team in the league retired his number, 56, in honor of what great player he was as a defensive player.
See, but this is why I disagree. Now, they did it for Jackie Robinson because he was a trailblazer. He broke that barrier. That, to me, is something better than anything accomplished on the field. So I get what you're saying. Like, look, there's talk about Clemente, them retiring 21. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't want them to make a precedent of that, to think that it's something that everybody should get. Now,
Yeah.
I would be biased if I would say, yeah, look, I got his stuff up here. You know, of course, I'm going to want them to retire that number, but I wouldn't want it to be kind of like it would be cheapened if they did it. It would seem that way because then they're going to be like, okay, well, what about this guy? I just feel like some things. There's the statue of him in Pittsburgh. The right field wall is 21 feet high. Like, I think he's been giving his flowers. I just don't. It would seem cheap to me if they did it after all this time. They should have done it already if they were going to do it. So that's
argument. That's fair. But you see, look what you said. He got a statue on the wall that's as high as his number he wore. What the Giants gave 56?
That's it. They retired his number.
Where's the statue?
Everybody don't get a statue, bro.
I know, but impact matters, bro.
No, without a doubt. But look. Well, he got a bust in Canton.
Yeah, I mean, but he earned that too, though. I mean, think about it. That's if the Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fame. Now that's a whole nother topic because I feel like nowadays everybody's making the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just me.
Yep, Hall of very good.
Yep, and you know, Deion Sanders said they should have 2 separate.
Yep,
like the great Hall of Famers, and then you know your average. And I do feel like that's being something that's been watered down over the years, and I feel like that with certain players because they never got a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Because they never saw, they never got to experience that championship. You know what I mean? Like I think that sometimes that's what they do. You know, it's like you can't be mad if the team never did nothing. Like they were talking about Matt Stafford I was watching the tape, and Orlovsky or somebody, they didn't have him at a certain level. And they said that Stafford was in Detroit and he wasn't lighting it up like that. Well, he wasn't winning championships. It was like, oh, but Detroit wasn't doing nothing. And they were like, but he also had Calvin Johnson too. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think Stafford is great. So it just you couldn't blame him that the team didn't build around him. And look, the minute he goes somewhere where he has an offensive line, a good defense, and some decent weapons, he wins a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you can't just imagine if you would have gave him that in Detroit. Imagine Stafford in Detroit with the team they got now, maybe 5, 6 years ago. With the talent, they might be winning Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? So
What I would say is it's not it's almost not fair. Well, it's double-edged sword because I'll say Eli, right? Everybody says Eli's going to get in because of the Super Bowls, but he wasn't great in the regular season. So how good are you if you don't have a Super Bowl, but you just get into the Hall of Fame? That means you were really good because you only performed in the regular season, but you were putting up numbers. Eric Dickerson, Marino, those dudes didn't see championships, but
yeah,
they're in the Hall of Fame.
I think what Marino did in his era in throwing that ball, the yards he was throwing for at that time, is what separated him amongst everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you talk impact of the game. You know, like when you start looking at some of those players that don't have a ring, but they're in there. I mean, Marino's numbers. I think if Marino had one ring, just one ring, some people would say he's the greatest quarterback ever because of how he threw the ball. So you got those debates out there. He just never got the ring. You know, he says himself he took it for granted. You know, he went 1 year and thought, oh, we'll be, and never went back. So and then again, organizations. You know, we talk about this all the time. You know, we could give credit to Brady, Belichick, Andy Reid, and Mahomes, but the GM plays a part in that. You know what I'm saying? The owner plays a part in that. The offensive line coach plays, like we had Dante Scarnecchia, who was one of the greatest offensive coaches or line coaches I've seen. When he left us there for 1 year, our shit went downhill. So there's a lot that goes into play when you put a team like that together. And when you don't have that and the organization's not giving you that, it's gonna be hard to win a championship, bro. You know, think about it. I got a question I saw, and we can probably wrap it up with this. What you think is harder to win? An NBA Finals championship or Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
I think so too. Because you're
You
winning.
you have multiple chances. You have multiple opportunities to get right in the series. You could win the first two, and then let's say you're on the road for the first two, and you go home. You could turn the series around. You know what I mean? Because they say it's not a series until a road team wins a game. So, but if you just swap in home court advantage, then it's gonna go to game 7, and then it becomes the 1-game series, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you get less games to prove it. You're only playing 17 games. You know, it's one and done when you get to the playoffs. It's sudden death in a sense. But Paul Pierce was like, you got to win 16 games to get to the finals, where you only got to win 4 games at best to get to the Super Bowl or to win the Super Bowl.
Please don't reference Paul Pierce ever again, y'all.
He's the one that said it, bro. Keyshawn Johnson said Super Bowl. But
God, and you go from Paul Pierce to
Keyshawn
Johnson.
That's who said it. So I
Who
don't
you
know.
Want to go to next? Gilbert Arenas? Like all them guys are idiots.
Listen, so I don't know if you noticed what Fox Sports 1's doing. They revamped their whole shit, bro. So
they had to, because it's horrible.
Yeah, and not only that, Undisputed is done. So what they did was they got the breakfast something in the morning. Then they have
with Craig Carr and the Felon. Yep.
Yeah. The Felon.
Yeah. That dude did time because he did some scam with Ticketmaster or some shit like that. Yeah, he's a scumbag, yo. I don't know why they gave him a show.
Because they were desperate.
I said, damn, they gave Craig Carton the show back after he got out of fucking jail. Like FS1 sucks, bro.
So now they got the facility, which is going to be Chase Daniels, Katie McCoy, Hacho, and James Jones. Then it's going to go to the Herd with Colin and his co-host. Then it's going to First Things First. You know, that's with Nick Wright, Wilds, and Chris Broussard and Greg Jennings, or who's the head coach? The one that played for us that was our head.
I know you're talking about.
The Jets guy, the one that blew the whistle on us. I can't think of his name now. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
They speak to Joy Taylor with Paul Pierce and Keyshawn Johnson.
They did her dirty by sticking her with them two cats, yo. Them two cats are morons, man.
Bro, you are
Wow, that one is horrible, bro.
honestly,
Horrible.
I think that's what brought down Undisputed, in my opinion. Um, I don't think they
Oh,
were.
undisputed. Oh, undisputed. I think it was gone because when Shannon left.
So yeah, so when Shannon left, I think that whole debacle hurt Skip more than it did anything else. But I felt they could have rebounded back if they would have just took their time and found the right person. And I feel like they were so hard pressed to put another a minority up there instead of just finding the right person, whether it's a female, whether it's a white guy, whether it's a black guy, whether it's a Spanish guy, and then they brought Little Wayne in and his Young Money people to do little like it wasn't just to me it just wasn't done right. So I feel like they try to get the ratings instead of trying to get back to the essence.
Well, they have to do the like Good Morning Football. I don't know if you watch Good Morning Football,
I used to.
but they had Kay Adams, she was the host, Kyle Brandt, Peter Schrager, and then they had Nate Burleson. So when Nate Burleson left, they brought in another black guy, which is one of the McCourty twins.
Devin.
Oh man, I can't remember which one it was, but they're twins. So and they look just alike. So I couldn't tell you.
Hard to tell them apart, bro.
But then they moved to LA this season. They're in LA right now. They moved from New York to LA. And what did they do? And Jason McCourty, it was Jason McCourty. So he didn't go. Who they have? Another black guy. KGB, he used to play for the Packers, I think it was. No, it's not him. It's Akbar, the guy from Ninja Warrior, the guy that hosts Ninja Warrior.
Okay, I gotta look it up, but all right.
So yeah, so look, so they're not gonna replace a black guy with a white guy. They're not gonna do that.
It's chemistry, bro. That's the thing I'm talking
No,
about.
I agree because I don't think this guy has chemistry with these guys. Jason was good; he was all right, but
so
he's calling Patriots game.
I prefer an athlete analyst than I do a person not. If I'm gonna listen to somebody talk, I know that goes against what we do, but and here's why. Sometimes I hear people like Nick Wright talk or other people talk, and they never played the game. Like that's why I like Chris Carter. I used to love Chris Carter on First Things First. Watch him, and I felt that he was honest. He used to check people because the athlete knows what's up. You know what I'm saying? We don't play the game. We was never in the trenches. We don't know. So
I'm the go ahead.
Yeah, so there's certain things I appreciate the analyst, the analyst that was a player now doing it. Now you know what? I'm gonna put an asterisk by that and say this. I hate when motherfucker wasn't that nice but tries to talk like he was on TV.
Well, that's my thing because I don't like when I prefer I like Dan Patrick, I like Rich Eisen. Now these are guys who are talking, but they're not talking down to you because they have a show. The athlete being an analyst, I feel like they're taking the approach like you can't tell me anything because I played the game. Like I can't be wrong, and I think that's wrong because everybody can be wrong.
Correct.
And then you got analysts who didn't play the game who think they can't be wrong either because it's their show. So it's not easy to get the correct mix. Peter Schrager on Good Morning Football, he's good as well, but when you got these guys, these hosts, again, like you said, haven't played the game, they can be just as big a jerk as the guy who did because they think they know everything because they have a show. And like I said before, an athlete will think, yeah, well, you can't tell me nothing. I played the game. You're not going to tell me that I'm wrong about the game that I played.
No, you're right. You're right about that. You're right. And I think that's when some of the you see with some of them, they'll come off very defensive and very like I don't know, man. Like I can't explain it, but they come off like you said. You can't tell me I'm wrong because I played the game, but I think only certain players should talk certain talk and others don't. With that being said, I really don't have anything else I want to add. I mean, we could talk about one more thing, but I'm good. I'm excited for next week. We're looking at recording probably Tuesday, so yeah, we're gonna save our picks and stuff for that day, for that moment. Hopefully June get on, and James, our condolences to him and his family. And I lost his mother, so he's taking care of that. And June, he's doing what he got to do. So we're gonna keep holding the fort down for them. It's all good until next week. I ain't got nothing else, bro. You got something you want to close out with?
See you next week, bro.
All right. Share, like, subscribe, turn them comments. Put some comments on, turn the notification on, and follow us, man. Thanks. Till next week.